So California continues to descend into North Korean-like madness. Folks, when are you going to get it? When are you going to have enough there? When are you going to have enough? I love California. I do. Going out there soon for something. I love California. I like it. I eat at this acai bowl place. I know it's foo-foo and everything, but it's good. As I get older, I'm losing my edge and I'm into like foo-foo stuff now, like acai bowls. Ordinarily, I would just eat a bowl of Cheerios, but there's my favorite acai bowl. I'm not going to tell you where because liberals will burn it down, and I don't want them to do that. You know, tolerant liberals, they'll show up and probably kerosene the whole place, so I'm not allowed to tell you where it is, but it's really good. I like California. There's a lot of conservatives there. But the liberals are in charge monopolistically. They run the whole state. So now we have rolling blackouts tonight. California is descending into complete madness. Tiana Lowe, Washington Examiner, rolling blackouts, no Uber, businesses flee. California's Democrats' dream for America. Yes. Yes. It is turning into a socialist utopia and a real world hell. Sadly. Folks, what happened? Well, not only is California turning out the electricity at night, you know, people need oxygen and things like that. People on CPAP machines and otherwise. People need refrigeration for their insulin. You have no power. Like, you know, the third world. Like Haiti after the earthquake. That's California. One of the richest states in the country. It would take an idiot to screw up California. And that's what you elected, sadly, a lot of idiots. The Democrats, that is. Conservatives didn't elect these dopes. Not only is California subjected to North Korea-style blackouts, and I'm telling you, let's get one of those satellite photos. You see North Korea that's dark all the time because they have no power, and let's see California, which is dark too, parts of it. Well, California decided it would be a good idea to drive Uber out too. You know that AB 5 I told you, Assembly Bill 5? So they don't like Uber, of course, because they're in the pockets of unions. That's what big government liberal politicians do. They get paid off by unions, so they're in the pockets of unions. They don't like Uber because Uber's not unionized. So what did they do? They passed a bill that said, you know what? You're going to have to classify these Uber drivers as employees. They're not employees. They're contractors. They're the very definition of contractors. So what happened? AB 5 was written in such a broad, awful fashion that they started not only putting Uber out of business, which was forced to close down, but was saved last night by a stay by a judge. Uber was going to shut down this week in California. I don't know if you missed this or not. That's a huge story. They were granted a stay by a judge, but there's a strong potential that by the end of the week or next week, Uber will be gone from California, and Lyft too. All you kids that like Uber and Lyft and found a way to get around on the super cheap, thank your California liberals. Socialism, isn't it great? Creating scarcity out of abundance. Socialism every single time. So what happened? The law was written in such a broad fashion in California to attack independent contractors that the backlash was severe. Eventually, people who write for journalism outlets who weren't full-time employees but would submit articles, they got fired too. Who else got fired? Independent artists, you know, musicians and such. Some of the people who vote for Democrats, where I still can't figure that out. Why? Because they'd show up, and in a gig economy, they'd show up at a club and do a gig. They're not an employee of the club. They're not a bartender. They're not a bouncer. They're not a waiter or a server or a runner. They're just a gig that shows up to perform their gig in the gig economy. Well, they got canned too. Who else got canned? A bunch of Uber and Lyft drivers, again, who could not be classified as full-time employees, many who happen to be younger, working in the gig economy, and would happen to vote for Democrats. Look at this piece by Tiana Lowe. Quote, California's power is not as carbon efficient as clean nuclear energy, nor is it as cheap as traditional mass fossil fuels. If you're looking to drink your problems away, though, at a favorite dive bar, because you have no power, of course, well, too bad. Governor Newsom shut the indoor dining rooms, too. This is his socialist utopia they live in. If you want to sit on a patio, you have to seek out the establishments that survived the state shutdown. Soon enough, you might be better off just binging in your basement as the California machine is mobilized to abolish the ride-sharing apps that revolutionized the state. So you can't even get away from your home using a ride-share app and go visit your friends because there aren't going to be any. I was trying to take a note of some of the special things California has shown us in the United States through their model of socialism and Democrat monopolies. So we have rolling blackouts, shuttered restaurants, evacuating businesses, confiscatory taxes, rampant homelessness, defecation maps in San Francisco so you can avoid defecation. Not a joke. Wish it was. Not a joke. Defecation maps. Don't go here. You can avoid the defecation in the streets. And we have revolutionary ride-sharing apps being shut down so you can go back to the old model of getting around. Your two dogs. Feet. Good luck with that. Hope you're having fun, Libs. Nice job.
You just heard Dan Bongino.